There's a whole bunch of noise outside, so sorry if the quality isn't that good. Also, I'm in a room where there's a lot of space and echo, so bear with me. Our delusional dream. First of all, I wanted to make clear that by sharing these concepts to you and you receiving them and making the connections between these concepts in your life, you are taking responsibility for the effects it will have if you do apply them in the future. Because of this, I want you to get a clear idea of what I mean, and that you will be outcasted by following these concepts, because it's not that common for people to live the way I'm gonna tell you to live right now. And our society tells us not to live that way, matter of fact, because it doesn't arrange the system. It will be, if you do follow this path, you will not be satiated by what is conventional. You will be outcasted because of that, because of your unconformity to what is conventional. Your outlook on life, what you used to enjoy, how you see the world in general will shift dramatically. You will start to change as a person. Your habits will start to change. Your diet, your lifestyle in general. If you go to that extent, so prepare yourself for an identity crisis and the effects it will have on your day-to-day life and your results and your whole life, your life as a whole, basically. All that you've ever constructed will fall apart. And sometimes it's useful for something that isn't that stable to fall apart, for new things to be rebuilt in a brand new manner that supports the whole foundation better, the foundation of your life will change. So your routine will be affected. What else? Well, in case you do share a roof with somebody and you are unstable, that person is gonna react to your changes. Not all of the time react violently or like some dramatic reaction, but it will cause certain conflicts with the people you have around you, on your surroundings. So, yeah, identity crisis, which is already a big deal because, basically your whole life, the whole life you've lived until this point will be teared down to rebuild something better. And yeah, you have to carefully plan the effects it will have with time, in advance, I mean. And in case you are unstable and you certainly will find it hard to follow the day-to-day basis that you created, because all your problems, all your insecurities, all your traumas will make their appearance and will surface up from the unconscious to the conscious. That is, if you sit in silence every day for at least 1 hour and you do follow this path, You know what is to come. Chaos is guaranteed, but after the chaos, a new foundation more stable, brighter, and better to have the life you wish, as you've envisioned as a dream, will appear. Your pace might be different from everybody else's, and that is why you will enter in conflicts with the forces of authority around you, especially, and your surroundings will react. Sometimes you will be aware of it, you will be aware of what's going on, but sometimes you won't. I'd make something clear right now, that the things that happen around you, whether it be good or bad, shouldn't that much affect you, or at least you shouldn't put much attention onto them. It's basically a distraction from your objective and from your aim. Because if you are distracted by things around you, then your attention gets caught up, and your force is not focused on a single objective. It's focused on what goes on around you, and what this people saying, and what that other people is saying, and how it affects your vision is by beliefs, simply. Because I guess you could say the things that people say do matter to a certain extent, but if you wish to not hear them, it's a whole different story. They do matter because they impact you in a certain way. They will make you believe that your vision is not strong enough, maybe, or that because there is no results, that there is no work involved, and there is no real foundation to base your construction upon. But that is very far from the truth, and you know that not everything is in the material, and not all your plans should have material results. In fact, that is why it's not material. That is the most solid foundation, because it's still in your head, and whether you lose your house or all your money in your bank account is left on zero, you can always rebuild that, and you'll do that the same way you've rebuilt everything in your life. If you do choose to rebuild this foundation, the shaky foundation based upon materialism, and not on a peaceful state of mind that is us, that is ourselves at the core. And that is from where we can draw the force to construct everything we've ever envisioned for ourselves, and we will ever envision for ourselves. So, yeah. Expect backlash and people instilling their beliefs. I told you there was going to be noise. Expect people instilling or try to instill their beliefs around you and around what you do, and whether it's good or bad, because it will happen. But you make the choice. You make the choice because you have the power to choose between what you're currently in and how you live your life, or how you would like to live your life in the future, and the sacrifices you must make. ties must be broken down, and a non-toxic environment is needed for you to heal completely. In the ideal of cases, if you do have it, it will be of extreme help. But if you don't, you'll just have to deal with people just telling you how to run your life, basically. If you do share a roof with somebody, or if you depend on somebody, you will have to make face with that and with the unconsciousness of the collective, maybe. Healing is not easy around that, because you do have to be careful for you to not be, let's say destabilized in some way, for you to not to be shaken, and for your spirit not to be broken, because I'm going to give you an advice that you shouldn't have the purpose of revenge around people. I mean that whether these people affect your vision or not, consciously or subconsciously, you don't have to respond negatively, because it will only draw more negativity around you and around what you're trying to create. And the last thing you want is that, because your foundation must be based upon positivity, upon love, and upon desire of what you want to become, not upon arrogance to just challenge authority for the sake alone of challenging. You do have to have boundaries, and you do have to let people know that this is your vision, and if they respect it, that is great, and if not, then you just have to move on. And I know it's been a challenge for me, and I'll tell you that I have a very close experience with challenging authority around me. Basically, authority doesn't know that it's unconscious. And if he knows, maybe it's proud of it. Maybe because it has been its whole life like this, it doesn't want to be told what to do, and it doesn't want to be changed. And that's normal, because that's the function of our ego, basically, as a collective and as an individual. But you have to break that if you do want to follow this. You have to break your sense of what is possible and what is impossible by breaking down your beliefs around business, around wealth, around what is valuable and what is not, around everything. If you want to reborn, you have to die first. So, yeah, you do choose. The choice is in your hands. If you do want an extraordinary life, the life of a visionary, of a leader, of someone who creates a vision and is the mastermind of that vision, or the life you've been living up until now, you choose. And you also have to plan carefully their response to your changes and how it's going to affect you. Because it's basically like a decision. if you do choose for it to bother you, you're always gonna be bothered because you'll always see the things that aren't going well around you, whether it be familial issues like family rupture, which is what I've gone through and what I had to deal with before constructing my vision is family problems. If you do live with your family, and yeah, you have to plan that. How are you gonna react? You have to decide how you're gonna react to these people trying to tell you what is possible and what is not, because the world constantly is changing as we change as a collective, and the generation of before wasn't as it is today. It has dramatically changed, whether it be mindsets or even like the concepts we create to make wealth. People around that time wouldn't imagine the internet would be such an expensive force. It's basically what controls the media nowadays. And yeah, conflict will arise if you do change yourself, and that will be a very useful indicator of how grown you are. If you see yourself as the polar opposite of the people around you, that is because you are on the right path. And it is a lonely road, but you are not alone. Do never forget that. And people might start to envy you because of your maturity, of the wisdom you're going to acquire, especially if you are young and if you are wise. It's a curse and a blessing at the same time. And envy can be something better than it appears to be, something to inspire people, rather than making them wanting to tear us apart and bring us down for us, in order for us not to construct the vision we want to do, or the vision we want to construct for ourselves. So yeah, envy can be inspiring, and you can inspire people by just following the right set of actions and just hoping that they'll understand your way of living. And if by miracle you are still here, you are still listening, you may be rather shocked or not. There's much more people that make these kinds of videos nowadays and this kind of content, so the media should be more and more so filled with this in the future and in the present too. And in the years to come, we are going to expand more and more, because there is more and more people that are awakening to what is going on around them and what is blocking them from achieving what they want to achieve. But here's where I want to say that if you do say this is impossible, or if you are refuting my point of view, maybe, the impossible isn't that impossible. And the impossible is possible, basically. It is impossible because your mind makes you think it is impossible. And the possibilities are infinite. But your mind, and you know who I'm talking to, your mind is too closed to more wisdom and to more possibilities. But for those determined to follow maybe my guidance and to follow my words, you do have the choice to follow them, and you do have the choice to use them. You are open-minded enough to see what I'm saying and to really hear what I'm saying. You have the potential to make the impossible possible. And legends do not fit in a mold. They will never do. They aren't meant to fit in. And they don't fit in. But it takes every ounce of your courage, of your patience, of your ability to remain calm, no matter the situation, no matter the chaos around you, of your diligence it requires without overexploiting yourself and knowing your pace of deconstruction and in time of construction upon a better foundation. Balance is the key for long-term goals, and knowing your pace is once again very important. The ability to be 100% honest and to let old parts of you die, old parts that aren't serving you, old parts that tell you that this thing is not possible and that how can you even say that this is gonna work, or you have to drop all those beliefs, all those. And this is just to name a few examples of what it takes to build your ideal you, to be your ideal self, to live it, to incarnate it, and knowing that you can't sell yourself short. You can't shoot only for a stable life with some adornments if you really do want your vision to be constructed and to be lived by. You shoot for a life where you can realize that the journey is half of the treasure and of the grail at the end. And that grail is waiting for you. Every day of your life, you're getting closer and closer to it. You just have to say, to really see that and to put in perspective your micro actions to the collective vision you have, to the collective, to rather the more grand vision you have over time. And you have to put the pieces together in order for you to not be discouraged and to not think that all your efforts are in vain. It's just that people around you don't understand this type of way of living, so they can't see what you see. You only have to trust yourself enough to see that you are making progress and you are healing yourself and you are you're trashing everything that doesn't serve you, basically, to get the life that you want. All the beliefs, all the people, all the bad habits, all the limitations, all the emotional baggage. but you will, no matter what, have no regrets at your deathbed if you do choose to follow your path, and you are meant to follow this path. You can be grateful for every moment of your life and not live by thinking that what you have isn't enough, or what you are isn't enough, or having things that you can't be grateful for because you are just seeing what you are lacking. You shoot for a meaningful life, one where you can be human again, one that will nourish your soul and make you feel like a child again, one that makes you grow ideally and helps others at the same time, one that makes you feel truly alive. And a few things that you'll realize in this path is that the material results don't mean anything if your mental isn't balanced, and if your mental isn't stable, and if it's not solid enough for your material gains to come. And if they do really come, maybe they will fall apart, but that is an indication of how much more mental work you have to do in order for it to be stable, and in order for these material gains to go beyond what your limitations tell you, or what your current situation tells you. Everything that comes into your life is a fit for what you are, and you have to know where you sell yourself short and where you can shoot for more in what you're capable of doing. That is the importance of knowing how to pace yourself and being honest here of what you are really capable of and what is too much for you. And that's not to say that you aren't capable of anything. That's just to say that it requires more time and more of your preparation in order for you to take the next step. You can't hope to do everything faster than its original pace, than your pace of healing and of constructing what you want to construct for yourself and what your life and your heart tell you to construct. You have to base yourself upon your passion, and that passion will never be shaken once it's nourished, and once the fire is ignited, nothing can stop it from burning. And as time goes by, that fire will be so ignited that it will create empires, if you wish so. But patience is key. Patience is key to everything that is grand. That is your legacy. And you're meant to see more than just the things that don't go right in your life. You're meant to have more than that, and you are meant to discover more of yourself than all the superficial images around you, all the reflections around you, all the things that limit you and make you feel like you can't do certain things because you're not capable of it. But once you do take part here and follow this journey, you will realize that compared to what you're chasing after, the things that you thought yourself you weren't capable of, those are going to become a child play. They're going to be absurd because they're going to seem so superficial and so empty. Once you do take off and heal all your wounds and heal all the things that tie you, so that you can lift yourself up to bigger extents. But if you want to invest in what you're currently investing in, knowing that there's a big possibility that you won't be satisfied by it, go ahead. You'll realize that if you take conscious awareness of it, you realize that the human mind and your mind, by extension, is meant to want more and more. It's not grateful for what it already has, and it's made to see the bad rather than the good. If you do choose to live materially, there's a big possibility that you don't see the good where it is and where it's all surrounding you. And therefore, the ego wants more because it just wants to feel that void inside by what it can see, what it can smell, what it can touch. What could satiate the ego? I can tell you that it's nothing material. It's not satiated. It's not grateful for what it has. It's not you. It's not human. It's too human. You learn to make something meaningful out of your life, something that is altruistic and has deeper motives than chasing success for its sake, than chasing only something that you can have, only something that you can touch, only something that you can smell. You're meant to chase something that is meant for you, for your deepest inner self, and only for you to do so, only something that is a reflection of what you really are and brings you that emotional, mental, and material stability and wealth that you deserve and that you always deserved. And it doesn't even feel like work. It feels like a child's play. Like you're just flowing through life, not seeing the end of it because you're just going so fast and things feel so good. And it's not like superficially and a raw experience of pleasure. It's a deep experience. It's something that goes beyond what your body is made of. Something that goes beyond this existence, and something that touches the child within you, the life inside you. Something that brings you life. And finally, to the delusional dreamer that you are, you have the potential to become a visionary, a legend, a leader, a revolutionary, someone that will shake this society to make it something better. And then now, people don't think you can make it, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't prove them wrong. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't go and chase after that vision you created and you want to create. But time and healing is due for you to invest in it, for you to begin investing in it. And if you haven't any burdens that you carry, if you haven't any limitations, then that is very good. And I'm really proud to say that, because some people in the past weren't this way and weren't material, and weren't superficial and materialistic and ego-driven and power-hungry and really too human. They were more human. There's difference between the two, because too human is ego human, and more human is what you and what I and what us and what everybody of us was meant to become, and was initially made out of humanity, but pure humanity, not the world we live in nowadays. But it will change, and it just starts by you. It starts by your surroundings and how you impact them to see you, and to maybe inspire them to become what you have become and what you want to become. Prove them wrong. Prove them that you can do what they don't want you to do, and what they don't think you are capable of doing, and what seems too big for you to do. With time, everything is possible. Everything. Time, patience, diligence in what you seek. Make your actions speak louder and louder until they wouldn't have the courage to ignore you anymore. As I've said, don't rebel just for the sake of it, just because you feel like it, because it will do you more harm than good in your journey. It mustn't be your goal to instill negativity or get back at some people. Just move in silence, and if they ask you what your vision is, honestly, they do ask you honestly, and they do want to know what you're driven by, just tell them. And if they refute some of your points, you just have to ignore it, follow along, and hope that your actions will speak. But first you have to heal. Healing is very important. You have to seek that space, that non-toxic space, to be completely washed, for your burdens to be completely washed away from you, for all the dust to come out, for your true shining self to make surface, and to create, and to begin and beginning to create that vision. I'm sorry. But everything starts with you healing yourself and you washing your insecurities away, washing all the things that prevent you from constructing that vision. You have to analyze your past, reflect it, let it go, and take action to become a better person, to become what you want to do gradually. And the more you'll heal yourself, the more you're going to reflect, the more you're going to understand yourself, and the more you can take action towards more and more that you've always wanted to take action upon. Just don't waste that much time in wanting to acquire superficial things, because you have something greater in mind, and that foundation is more important so than wasting time in. You can have those in due time, but first you have to really assess the situation and see what priorities are yours to take, and what can be put to the side for later. Achievements will speak for yourself, and the shadow you once were was meant to be teared down, was meant to be shined on by the light inside you. As you enlighten yourself, your mind and your material world will change in ways that you wouldn't have imagined, or you maybe can't imagine right now. But I honestly, and with all my heart, really, I do wish that you are capable of envisioning something that will resonate to you, and something that will get you out of whatever sticky situation you are in, and knowing that you can achieve more only by having more patience and not wanting to do everything at the same time. Because the more you think about doing things, about how to do things, and how important it is to really coordinate your actions and make the right decisions, the more you will make the right decisions, and the faster and the more efficient your progress is going to be, than if you just run around thinking that if you do more, you'll just achieve more, and you'll gain more wealth. It is that way, and it can be that way, but it requires sacrifices that, if you are resonating with this vision, aren't worth it, really. Your soul is rotting by following this path, that path rather. And many of you know it. Which brings me to not identifying too much with the path you choose, whether it be the material one or this more like ethereal wise path that I'm presenting to you. Don't make your ego distort what you are, because really you can be anything and you are nothing really. And it's not to sound rude or something, like you are nothing because you can be anything. Like really you're like a blank piece of paper. You can draw anything on it. It's whether you take that choice or not. It's whether you do vision your future and you are diligent on it and you take the steps gradually to make it possible, is the question. And is the right thing to do. It's what you've always dreamed to do. And yes, it will be hard sometimes, but just know that this path is the right one. Even though everybody around you tells you that you are delusional and that you're too much of a dreamer, a delusional dreamer. The happiness and the things that really matter in this life are not in the exterior. You're going to get used to seeing the things around you. You're going to want more. You do realize this, right? But the things that you feel every day, you can't forget them because you always do feel happy about what you do. You do feel inspired to do more. You do feel inspired to create more, to follow this path because you know that it is the right one, and you will have faith in knowing that it will bring prosperity, it will bring wisdom, it will bring everything you've always dreamed of and more. You will never forget that feeling. But sacrifices have to be made for that feeling to be your day-to-day. You are not alone. You will find and attract people like you, and the mere fact that you are even hearing this proves it. You can find comfort in following this future, counting on me and counting on us to guide you. But think by yourself and accordingly to your beliefs and your true desires and your true goals and what really inspires your soul. And if you're truly determined to change your life, you are understanding what I'm saying. Just be patient to shift into what you want to become, your ideal self, and the path you want to grow in. Have faith because it is real. It is more real than anything. I am on this path, and everybody else that resonates with this is also here. There's no better person than yourself when it comes to taking the initiative for your life and taking the right decisions. Just listen to your voice, to your cravings, your desires, to the things that resonate with your soul, and not to your vices, not to your cravings. because it will get you lost. It will get you the life that everybody else is living. It will get you the mentality that everybody else has. This ungrateful, sick of life mentality that you see around you everywhere, on the media, on school, on your family, in your family, rather. You make the conditions you want to be in, but sometimes we do grow in conditions where we don't want to grow in, and that is okay. We have to find our own path, and we have to create our own vessel in order to create what inspires us. Never forget your vision, and never act upon everyone else's perspective of your vision. Only listen to what inspires you, and only listen to your decisions and your choices. You can take feedback, but not let instill ideas of everyone, not let everyone else's ideals and ideas get instilled into your vision, because it is your vision, it is what you create for yourself. But for now, the future concepts I will be talking about, and the strategy and how you do it, is going to matter the most, in the pace that you follow, and one that isn't overextending you, and one that isn't too slow. But if you are conscious enough, you should be able to discern what your pace is. You should sense when you can't do no more, and when you are really at your limits, and when you can, and where you can't lie down and not do anything, because you are just so drawn to do certain things to advance your vision and to advance your path, basically. But it takes time for you to grow that mentality, and it takes time for you to be conscious enough of it. So make the efforts, not today or tomorrow, maybe, but as you watch my videos, you'll be more inspired to do so, to follow this path, and to maybe sit 1 hour a day or 20 minutes a day, to reflect on the things that happen around you, to reflect that everything is not as it seems, and you are just seeing the surface of what is really happening. And it's nothing scary, really. It's just something that you have to take into consideration for you to construct this, for you to follow this. And as you go through my videos, and you see, and you read again, and you listen again to what I'm saying, the more and more this is going to make sense to you. The more and more you introspect, and you see for yourself what is right and what is wrong. Because maybe the things I'm saying here aren't right for you, and maybe you need to make some tweaks. This is a very individualized, customized concept and way of living. You have to discern what is right and what is not for you, and maybe my path isn't as different as yours, or as identical as yours. Everybody has their own path, their own dream. But that dream isn't just a dream, it will become a reality. This will change you gradually, and has the deep, deep potential to change you, and to do so, your life at the core will change in due time. You can take the steps to grow with me if you have the sufficient information, determination, and the mindset to do so, to reach the plan and the level of growth that you are setting your eye upon. This one cannot be wavered, and your vision cannot be wavered by the clouds of your mind nor the storms surrounding it. For if you decide and are truly determined, a whole and new ideal life will be awaiting you. Hope is your key to healing. Hope that you can heal again. Hope that you can be inspired again. Hope that you can get back up no matter what happens to you. It is the key to opening doors, to put you in alignment with what has to be redeemed, what was once stolen and taken away from you over time. Yourself, your true self, and the appearances and shadows that aren't authentic to you and that people project on you will no longer have the same effect on you, on your spirit. You will, and your spirit will be stronger. And as it breaks and rebuilds itself from the ashes, the phoenix, as the unification of yourself and what your ideal self really is, you will find what you once were a very long time ago. And those illusions, those insecurities, those burdens, those scars, those projections from the past that aren't meant for you to be will slowly fade away, will disappear. If you remember what it was like to feel alive, it was a far moments where you had the impression that life was carrying you and that you were flowing with it, instead of it tearing you apart and making you drown in insecurity. You will discover once more what you were deep inside, and even the darkest paths will no more affect you the way they did in the past. Your wounds will heal and you will create a vision. Your vision is the drive to what you always desired to be. Start now, but don't be impatient too. Be aware that you have your circumstances and you have to be compassionate with what you go through. The future awaits us, and the light inside us lives forever. But sadly, our traumas and blockages were keeping it from shining up until this moment. Even with all of this to overcome, what awaits us on the other side, I know it and you know it as well, is, I assure you, the children we once were. They're never rotten, they never died, they never ceased to exist. They can be us again. They can serve us into creating what inspires us, what wakes the children inside us. And it will be an honor to bring my knowledge to you, for you will in due time guide by extent or actions the more lost children of tomorrow, for them to find themselves as much as in the same way that you will find yourself.